China's resurgence as a global powerhouse is the defining geopolitical trend of our times. Over the past few decades, it has transformed from a largely agrarian society into an economic juggernaut, reshaping the global landscape in the process. Its economic transformation, military modernization, and assertive foreign policy have reverberated across the world, influencing markets, politics, and international relations on an unprecedented scale. Nowhere is this impact more pronounced than in its immediate neighborhood, where countries are grappling with the implications of China's rise. India, with its own aspirations for great power status, finds itself at the crossroads of this seismic shift. As the world's largest democracy, India is navigating a complex landscape of opportunities and challenges presented by its powerful neighbor. The rise of China presents both unprecedented opportunities and formidable challenges for India. On one hand, there are vast economic benefits to be reaped from closer ties. On the other, there are significant strategic and security concerns that must be addressed. Understanding the complexities of this relationship is crucial for navigating the future of Asia and indeed the world. The interplay between cooperation and competition will shape the regional and global order in the years to come. This essay will explore the multifaceted relationship between China and India, examining the historical, economic, and strategic dimensions that define their interactions. It will delve into the historical ties that bind them, tracing back centuries of trade, cultural exchange, and mutual influence that have shaped their shared history. The economic interdependence that connects them today is a testament to their intertwined destinies. Trade and investment flows between the two nations have grown significantly, creating a complex web of economic linkages. However, the strategic rivalry that divides them cannot be ignored. Border disputes, military standoffs, and competing regional ambitions have led to tensions that periodically flare up. By examining both the potential for conflict and the prospects for cooperation, we can gain a deeper understanding of the dynamics at play. The path forward will require careful diplomacy, mutual respect, and a willingness to find common ground. Through this exploration, we can begin to chart a course for a stable and prosperous future for these two Asian giants, whose relationship will undoubtedly shape the destiny of the region and the world. The relationship between China and India is rooted in millennia of shared history and cultural exchange. The ancient Silk Road served as a conduit for trade and ideas, connecting the two civilizations across the Himalayas. Buddhism, originating in India, found fertile ground in China, leaving an enduring mark on its culture and philosophy. However, this history is not without its shadows. The 20th century witnessed a period of estrangement, marked by border disputes and ideological differences. The 1962 war, a humiliating defeat for India, cast a long shadow over bilateral relations. Despite these historical tensions, the closing decades of the century saw a gradual thaw, with both sides recognizing the need for dialogue and cooperation. The dawn of the 21st century ushered in an era of unprecedented economic engagement between China and India. China's insatiable appetite for raw materials and India's burgeoning consumer market created a powerful synergy. Bilateral trade skyrocketed, turning China into India's largest trading partner. Indian IT companies established a strong presence in China, while Chinese investments flowed into infrastructure projects across India. However, this economic interdependence is not without its challenges. India's trade deficit with China has ballooned, raising concerns about economic dependence and unfair trade practices. The COVID-19 pandemic further exposed the vulnerabilities of global supply chains, prompting calls for diversification and greater self-reliance. The unresolved border dispute along the Himalayas remains the most potent flashpoint in the China-India relationship. This rugged and inhospitable terrain has been a witness to numerous confrontations and a testament to the deep-seated tensions between these two nuclear-armed neighbors. The disputed territories, Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh, have witnessed repeated military standoffs and skirmishes, most notably the 2020 clash in the Galwan Valley. This deadly encounter resulted in casualties on both sides and marked a significant escalation in the long-standing border conflict. Both sides have engaged in a massive military buildup along the line of actual control, raising fears of a wider conflict. The deployment of tanks, heavy artillery, and advanced surveillance systems underscores the high stakes involved and the potential for further escalation. Beyond the border, the rivalry between China and India extends to the broader Indo-Pacific region. This strategic theater has become a new arena for their geopolitical contest, with both nations vying for influence and control over critical sea lanes and maritime resources. China's growing naval presence in the Indian Ocean, marked by the deployment of advanced warships and submarines, has raised alarms in New Delhi. The Indian Ocean, a vital conduit for global trade, is now a focal point of strategic competition. Its Belt and Road Initiative, which aims to create a vast network of trade routes and infrastructure projects, has further complicated the geopolitical landscape. This ambitious project is seen by many as a means for China to expand its influence across Asia and beyond, and its strategic partnerships with countries like Pakistan are seen as attempts to encircle India and undermine its influence. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor in particular has been a point of contention, as it passes through territories claimed by India. India, in turn, has strengthened its strategic partnerships with the United States, Japan, and Australia, seeking to counterbalance China's growing assertiveness. These alliances are part of a broader strategy to enhance India's security and regional standing, forming the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or Quad, as a counterweight to China's growing assertiveness. The Quad's joint military exercises and strategic dialogues underscore the shared commitment to maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific, highlighting the complex and evolving dynamics of this geopolitical fault line. Section 5. Beyond Borders, Threads of Shared Culture. Despite the geopolitical tensions, it's important to acknowledge the enduring cultural and people-to-people ties that connect China and India. Buddhist pilgrimage routes continue to attract devotees from both countries, fostering spiritual and cultural exchange. Yoga and Ayurveda have gained immense popularity in China, while Chinese cuisine has become a staple in India. Educational exchanges and tourism have also contributed to greater understanding and appreciation between the two peoples. These cultural connections, while often overshadowed by political differences, represent a vital bridge between the two societies. Nurturing these ties can help foster greater trust and understanding, paving the way for a more cooperative relationship. Section 6. Charting a course cooperation or conflict. The future of the China-India relationship hangs in the balance. The potential for conflict is real, driven by unresolved border disputes, strategic mistrust, and geopolitical competition. However, the two countries also share a number of common interests, including economic development, climate change, and combating terrorism. The question is whether they can manage their differences and leverage their commonalities to forge a more cooperative relationship. The path forward requires both sides to exercise restraint, engage in dialogue, and seek common ground. Confidence-building measures, such as military de-escalation along the border and increased economic cooperation, are crucial for reducing tensions. Both countries must recognize that a zero-sum approach will be detrimental to their own interests and to regional stability. Section 7. The Stakes. India's place in a China-centric Asia. In this section, we delve into the intricate dynamics that define India's position in an Asia increasingly dominated by China's influence. The rise of China has fundamentally altered the geopolitical landscape of Asia. Its economic might and military prowess have reshaped regional power structures, compelling neighboring countries to reassess their strategies. India, as the region's other major power, must adapt to this new reality. The challenge lies in navigating a path that secures its own national interests while acknowledging China's growing influence. The choice before India is not whether to engage with China, but how to engage with it. This engagement must be strategic, calculated, and multifaceted, encompassing diplomatic, economic, and military dimensions. A confrontational approach risks escalating tensions and undermining India's own economic and security interests. Such a stance could lead to prolonged conflicts, draining resources, and destabilizing the region. On the other hand, a purely accommodative approach would cede too much ground to China and undermine India's strategic autonomy. It could result in India becoming overly dependent on China, compromising its ability to act independently on the global stage. India must chart a middle course, one that balances its own interests with the need for regional stability. This involves building alliances with other regional powers, investing in its own economic and military capabilities, and engaging in constructive dialogue with China. This requires a clear-eyed assessment of China's intentions, a willingness to stand firm on core interests, and a pragmatic approach to cooperation where possible. By doing so, India can ensure its place as a key player in a China-centric Asia, maintaining its sovereignty and promoting regional peace. Section 8. Navigating the Dragon. A call for strategic engagement. India needs a comprehensive strategy for engaging with China in the 21st century. This strategy must be based on a realistic assessment of China's strengths and weaknesses, as well as India's own capabilities and limitations. It should prioritize diplomacy, economic engagement, and military deterrence, while also seeking to build partnerships with like-minded countries. India should leverage its democratic values, its growing economy, and its strategic location to shape a more inclusive and rules-based regional order. It should work with partners like the United States, Japan, and Australia to counter China's assertive behavior while also seeking areas of cooperation on issues of mutual interest. Section 9. Conclusion. Towards a new Asian equilibrium. The relationship between China and India is one of the most consequential bilateral relationships in the world. Their destinies are intertwined, and their choices will shape the future of Asia and beyond. The path ahead is fraught with challenges, but also with opportunities. By embracing a spirit of pragmatism, dialogue, and strategic engagement, China and India can navigate their differences and build a more stable and prosperous future for both nations and the wider world.